and welcome back to my channel True Crime and Trials, where I discuss true crime and trials. My name's Lindsay and we are still on day one of the Robert Durst trial, and after the defence opening, the state call a witness from last year, which is Officer Rashad Sharif. And you know, a joke is made where he is asked to answer the last question he was asked when the trial was stopped last year. So, as the state had finished their line of questioning last year, it is passed over for cross-examination. And this is the officer who found Susan, and he was training other trainees at the time, and there were 4 patrol officers at the scene at that time, and not one of them wore any protective garments at the scene, like any gloves or any booties or anything. So then the defence shows, I'll give a warning here, it's of Susan's body when she'd been shot, so if you don't want to see it, look away now. It's a picture of someone standing next to Susan's body. So Rashad says it is not one of his patrol officers. It could be someone from the fire department, a detective, or one of the crime scene technicians. And the defence points out that whoever it is isn't wearing booties and is quite close to the body. They do have a bloody good point. And he nor the other 3 officers looked out in the backyard. There's a hilly area and none of that was searched for any evidence. So, the redirect. The initial call that Rashad got was for an open door, and he was not expecting to find a dead body inside. He didn't even consider it. I mean, he thought it was a burglary. He didn't put booties on inside, firstly because, you know, he didn't know he was walking in on a murder scene. Secondly, they don't get them issued, so, you know, it's a mute argument there, because, you know, if he didn't have them and he thought he was going to burglary, then why would he put them on before he entered? I mean, there could have been a raging gunman running around for all he knew, but he's busy putting on his booties. He says from what he saw, Susan, some time had elapsed since she'd been killed. In other words, she'd been there for a while. And when he first saw Susan, his first concerns were there any more victims and where was the suspect? So he looked throughout the house. You know, he's been called on a burglary. He walks in and finds a dead body. He's going to think, is there anybody else in the house? Is there, you know, a suspect hiding somewhere ready to jump out with a gun? So he wasn't initially thinking, God, I've got to preserve the scene. You know, I put my gloves on, put my booties on, not to touch anything, isn't it? No. So that's the end of that. The next witness is Sophie Balk. She's a general paediatrician in New York, and she taught medical students back in 1982. And the state show her a photograph from her records from the 1st of February 1982. And that day, Sophie was due to see 3 students about their rotation. And one of these students was Durst. She had written their names down and 2 of them were crossed out, but Kathy's hadn't. And Sophie can't remember exactly why she didn't cross her name out, but seems to think it's because she wasn't there. Sophie had never met or spoke to Kathy. She never got the chance, obviously. Sophie found out about Kathy's disappearance probably through the news. I mean, this is a long time ago, and, you know, these people trying to remember these events, they're going to struggle. She also had no knowledge of any attendance issues and has no memory of ever reporting any attendance issues to the school. She says if anyone was going to not be in, then they would have had to be told to ring Sophie herself. The students knew months in advance who they were reporting to that day, and they would have had all Sophie's contact details. So the state are angling towards that if Kathy had rang that day, she would have rang Sophie and not the dean. She says it wouldn't make sense for someone to call the dean instead of her. So now comes the cross-examination. I think you know where this is going to go. So they start going at her, trying to infer that she can't really remember what the correct protocol exactly was 40 years ago. So instantly, they've pissed her off. She's on the defence. She doesn't like the guy. And now they're trying to infer that Kathy had a closer relationship to the dean than Cot, so that's why she called the dean and not Sophie. Why she would know this, I don't know. And she does say, I don't know. She was told by someone that Kathy wouldn't be in that day. She doesn't know by who or what time that was. So throughout this cross-examination, he just offends her over and over and over again, and she gets snippy. He tries to make out that he's not trying to be awful to her, which he is. He's just being an asshole, and she's just being an asshole back. So there we go. So yeah, that's it for those two witnesses. I've got another one to come, but they started that and didn't finish it, so I'll do that all in one go. So until then, bye for now.